Alright, so we got the 226 spoilers, and we're finding out what had happened to Gojo, because at the end of the previous chapter, Sukuna used his domain to break Gojo's domain, then straight up cut his head off, or at least slice through it. And what we speculated about at the end of my previous chapter review is pretty much happening. Gojo's surviving. He's not dead. He actually immediately uses reverse curse technique and instantly heals the cut. I mean, that's pretty much what we said, and it was kind of obvious, right? Or at least to some of us. There's no way Gege could have just ended the fight there. It would have just been so anticlimactic. But coming into this one, Yuji is worried as he watches Gojo get slashed, but Gojo heals and reattaches the cut immediately through reverse curse technique. But Higuruma comments that as long as Gojo stays inside Sukuna's domain, the slash attacks will continue. And yes, that is very true. If we go back to Sukuna using his domain against Maharaga back in Shibuya the first time, that's how he defeated Maharaga. He destroyed him with just thousands and thousands of slashes, along with that portion of the city. Civilians died. He even took off Inumaki's arm. So Gojo is at the epicenter of this right now. Choso says that since Sukuna has an open domain, Gojo can get away. Hikari adds that even if Sukuna's domain covers all of Shibuya, Gojo can still escape easily, but Kusakabe says that since Gojo domain got destroyed, Gojo can't use his curse technique. So yes, that's very true. That's actually one of the drawbacks of Sukuna's domain, but he does it purposely. I think they said it was like a binding vow or something, where Sukuna's domain expansion remains open, but in exchange, it gets a massive radius. Because as we know, domains aren't usually as big as Sukuna's, which is like close to 200 kilometers, at least 140. So you can technically run out of it, but you need to be like a superhuman, or have some crazy ability that allows you to propel yourself, such as with Gojo's, where he could straight up teleport sometimes, but they haven't really addressed that since he did it with Yuji when he was fighting against Jogo. But since he just used his domain and it was destroyed, he technically can't use his curse technique, as they're saying here. But you know, that's not necessarily the full case with Gojo, but right now he definitely can't escape. And in the next page, he gets lit up. Just like Maharaga did. Sukuna giggles as he continues to slash Gojo's whole body mercilessly, but Gojo says he's overwhelming superior in terms of curse technique usage. So yeah, this is like one of Gojo's defining moments here. He is getting lit up by cleave and dismantle. Like, he is just a bloody mess. Like, on the page, he's just black. Like, there's so much blood and slices. Gege has just drawn him black in this sequence, but he's just standing there taking it. And apparently he's saying that he has just overwhelming curse technique usage. And I guess that's the case because he's somehow surviving this too. Not even Maharaga was able to take this, but Gojo is talking while he's taking it. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, HelloFresh. This summer, HelloFresh is here to take the work out of eating well. Reach your goals with delicious, calorie smart and protein smart lunch and dinner options, plus new vegan recipes too, because you're going to get farm to table quality with every HelloFresh box. HelloFresh's seasonal ingredients are picked at peak ripeness and travel from farm to your doorstep in less than 7 days for fresh flavor in every bite. Because let's face it, figuring out what's for dinner is not at the top of everyone's summer activity wish list. It's definitely not at the top of mine. So I really appreciate that HelloFresh delivers chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients right to our doors so we can just spend the summer doing, well, I guess whatever we want. Guys, I gotta admit, I love HelloFresh. I tried the one-pan beef enchiladas verdes with Mexican cheese blend and hot sauce crema. And not only was it surprisingly fun, but it also tasted incredible. Like, they're not lying about restaurant quality. HelloFresh also helps me with the grind of YouTube. I don't have to worry about what I'm gonna eat next, or what I'm gonna prepare, or if I'm gonna order something, because it's all here for me. And it's also stress relieving. So guys, go to HelloFresh.com and use code ZHONIN16 at checkout for 16 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com, and make sure you use code ZHONIN16 at checkout for 16 free meals plus free shipping. I can't believe that, guys. But then I guess Gojo then tries to like run away after this, which is, you know, kind of necessary. But Sukuna doesn't let Gojo escape and engages him in hand-to-hand combat, while Gojo looks bloody with cuts all throughout his body. So yeah, Gojo like tries to run away, but Sukuna jumps off the top of his shrine, chases him down, and then just starts attacking him. It even looks like he does some kind of like Imanari roll from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, like he wraps his legs around one of Gojo's legs to like fully stop him. But I guess it's not working out. I don't know. I can't fully see what's leading to this, but it looks like that from my perspective. I wouldn't be surprised if Gege at least knows that technique. It's pretty iconic to MMA and a lot of BJJ matches. Sukuna praises Gojo for keeping up with him. Gojo is continuously using reverse curse technique to survive the slashes, and he also deduces that the center of Sukuna's domain isn't Sukuna himself, but the shrine. While watching the fight, Yuji asks what happens if Sukuna's shrine is destroyed. Kusakabe and Meimei answers that the animated stuff from one's inner domain might just be symbolic, and since even Gojo with the 6 eyes is not attempting it, there's no use trying to destroy it. So that's pretty interesting actually. And this might be more so for the audience if anything, but the shrine from Malevolent Shrine, or I guess the Malevolent Shrine itself, is kind of just like aesthetic to it. It's like a decoration, I guess. If you destroy it, it's not like, oh no, my power, you foiled it. It's like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Sukuna is just controlling everything. He's the one that needs to be destroyed, not the shrine. Just when everyone thought that there's no other way out, Gojo uses new shadow style, simple domain. Yuji is surprised and asked how did Gojo do it, and Kusakabe answers that it isn't that Gojo can't do it, it's just that he's not suitable to teach stuff. So Gojo could always use simple domain, but he just didn't teach it because he can't, and that's common amongst people that are super talented. Like everything just easily comes to them and they're not necessarily able to teach it, as we've seen actually in this series again with like Shoko. Shoko could just innately perform reverse curse technique and it on others, but when she tried to explain it to Gojo, she really couldn't. She was just like, you know, you go like this, you go like that, and you get it done. You know, like ask LeBron how to like shoot a free throw. Like he probably can't explain it that well. He could just do it. Well, you know, he could explain it, but the way that he does it, you know, he wouldn't really be able to. But Gojo waited to use simple domain. I guess he needed his cursed energy to come back enough, but that's actually not even the case, because going further, Kusakabe doesn't understand how Gojo can simultaneously cast simple domain while also healing himself with reverse curse technique. Choso answers that it's due to low output of simple domain, but this can only buy a little time. So you'd figure that Gojo would have did it instantly. If it has such a low output, especially with Gojo's immense cursed energy output and his ability to efficiently recycle it, but I guess everything is happening so instantly here that he just didn't have time, or he needed to get some space or something. But yeah, Gojo really doing some super high level top tier stuff here. Simple domain and using reverse curse technique at the same time, fighting off Sukuna while he's getting slashed thousands of times. Gojo's scars look healed, but Sukuna once again slashes Gojo's face, and he's pushed to open simple domain once again, but Gojo has stopped using reverse curse technique to heal himself, and Inumaki says that though Gojo won't run out of cursed energy, that during a normal situation, using reverse curse technique which consumes double amount of cursed energy, that too, right after using the domain, must be exhausting. Maybe we heard this before, I don't really remember off the top of my head, but we're getting like a hard scaling on how much cursed energy is used for reverse curse technique, and it's double. I guess double in comparison to what a normal technique would use maybe, but yeah, you going back to Gojo, just he's a super beast. These truly are the two strongest. Like only they can really perform what they're doing right now, at least what we know of. Like everyone watching this fight at least can't do what they're doing, like using a domain and then immediately just continuing like a super high jujutsu battle right after, especially using multiple techniques at the same time. Reverse curse technique, which is using double. Like it would be one thing to do this before using a domain, but right after, it's like, yes, really impressive. Just as Gojo keeps getting slashed, the narrator says, "Gonna lose? It's Gojo Satoru." And Gojo suddenly entangles Sukuna, and Sukuna notices that Gojo's speed has increased, and Yuta realizes the reason that Gojo wasn't using reverse curse technique to heal himself rather than to heal wounds. Gojo actually used reverse curse technique to restore his burned out curse technique. and thus leads to Gojo blasts Sukuna away with Curse Technique Reversal Red. Sukuna crashes into his shrine as Gojo casually heals himself again with Reverse Curse Technique. There's a break next week. Wow, so let me break down this amazing sequence. So after Gojo breaks out of his last simple domain, he runs at Sukuna and then straight up latches onto him, like wraps his legs around his waist and grabs onto his neck, like reverse backpack position, which is smart, I guess, because I don't know, would this thwart Sukuna's slashing ability? Like, Sukuna's slashes, could it even hurt him? I don't know, it's not really explained, but now that Gojo has his legs wrapped around Sukuna, he's just point blank on him, and he raises his fingers straight to his face like spirit gun style. And that's when we find out that instead of healing himself momentarily, he was using Reverse Curse Technique to heal Limitless, because it was quote unquote burned out after using his domain. So he just takes these slashes just to the face, eating them up while he's healing Limitless, and then just blasts Sukuna point blank in the face with Curse Technique Reversal Red. It's like Gojo's projectile type ability, like he's expelling space at you instead of just controlling it normally with Limitless or pulling you in like a vacuum with blue. Red is the one that blasts. Like we saw him use it against Jogo back in season 1, also against Toji of course, but shooting Gojo in the face with this blasts him towards the shrine, and that's where the chapter ends. Like Sukuna's face, or at least the left side of his face, looks like it's severely damaged. I don't know if it's blown off, but it's like just as damaged as he was after taking the Hollow Purple in the first chapter of this battle. So, and then it looks like Gojo is successfully healing again, or slowly but surely, and he's ready to go into the next round. So yeah, as we speculated, this fight is far from over, and things are just getting so interested. I can't wait to get into this official chapter once it's fully released, and I will cover that on Sunday as always. So please subscribe if you haven't already, guys, and have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.